Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here. I'm back with another review. This time I saw Mission Impossible. This is a 1996 action thriller spy film directed by Brian De Palma, and it stars Tom Cruise, John Voight, Emmanuel Beert, Henry Czerny, Jean Reno, and Ving Rhames, and Vanessa Redgrave. In this film, when Ethan Hunt, the leader of a crack espionage team whose perilous operation has gone awry with no explanation, discovers that a mole has penetrated the CIA, he's surprised to learn that he's the number one suspect. To clear his name, Hunt must now ferret out the real double agent and, in the process, even the score. So, what did I think of Mission Impossible? Well, I've kind of been curious to go in and watch the rest of these films since I've only seen the first, and I feel about the same way about the first that I originally did. I still think it's a good film. I do think it is a bit overhyped to an extent, and I feel that at times it gets a bit wordy for what it's trying to be, but I'll explain what I have to say about it. Just a second. The cast. Tom Cruise plays Ethan Hunt. I think Tom Cruise does a good job playing this character. Sorry, it's getting a bit hot. Um, I think this is one of his more fun performances for sure. He really is pretty energetic with how he plays the character. Um, it's nice to see when a lot of other Tom Cruise movies he takes himself way too serious. I never fully saw the second one, but the scenes that I did see, it did seem like, from what I saw from that film, it seemed like he took himself too seriously. Um, but here he has multiple scenes where he's having fun, he's emoting, he's doing a good job. John Voight uh, plays. Sorry, my phone just shut off. John Voight does a great job here. He kind of lets loose. I love John Voight. As a lot of people know, he's Angelina Jolie's father. Just to say right now, I don't think Angelina Jolie is a nepo baby. I know a lot of people seem to say that. She did get pretty famous alongside of him for sure. She was like the queen or whatever. I don't know why this popped into my head. Rambling as usual. But John Voight is really good at playing these kind of over-the-top characters, and I think he works in this. Emmanuel Beert. She's one of my issues I've always had with this film because she's one of those actresses where I'm like, they got someone pretty and foreign, but she's not a great actress. And every time she speaks, she does that like, Ethan, do this, you need to go here. Like, I'm not making fun of her accent, but she flubs so many lines. Like, in the way she doesn't put the right emphasis on the emphasis on the right syllable. She will sometimes not give off the right inflection, and she annoyed the shit out of me the entire movie. It's not the worst performance I've ever seen, but she's not good, I don't think. Henry Czerny is basically an IMF guy or some guy in the CIA that's after Ethan because he thinks that Ethan took the disc. Henry Czerny is an actor that I've never been super big on, and he continues that here. He is way over the top in scenes where it's supposed to be like suspenseful, especially the first scene that we see him in. I keep saying scene and see in the same sentence. Where he's like, "But what, Ethan? We heard about a little thing you did." Like it's almost like winking at the camera. It's really weird. And every time he was on screen, I just wanted to pull my hair out. Um, Jean Reno does a good job as always. He's one of the guys that ends up helping Ethan infiltrate the IMF headquarters, or CIA headquarters, excuse me. Always liked him. He's in my favorite. Yep, favorite favorite. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, up there. Favorite movie. I can't. There. Sorry, I'm working on backwards. Um, yeah, he's star of my favorite movie. I love seeing him here again, even though he could have been given more to do. Ving Rhames, always good to see him. He has a lot of fun here too. And Vanessa Redgrave gives a really underrated performance here. She is having a blast in this role, it seems. She's kind of like letting loose with it, and she's not like taking 100% serious, which I like. And I wish more of this movie did that. But she is like a fun kind of pseudo villain. She's not the main villain, but she is like still a villain character. But I did enjoy her in this. And overall, what I would mainly say the biggest issue with this film is it gets really talky at many points. What are you going into this movie for? You see in the trailer, ooh, action, chases, Tom Cruise being a badass. And I wish there was more of that in the film. And I think the sequels, from what I've heard about them, they do more of that. Like they become more just like action movies instead of like doing this weird like super talky. Like I've seen an episode of the original Mission Impossible show, which is what this is based on, and I really don't. I really don't know why this film goes about it in that way, where it's very talky. It's not. This is not an action heavy film. There's a couple action set pieces, mainly. Well, it's mostly suspense sequences. There's, if I had to count action set pieces, really the only one you have, or only ones you have, are at the about at a quarter of the way in, after the like big thing happens with the team, where he's running through the glass and everything, and uh the bit at the very end with the train. Because this, I wouldn't really call this an action movie. It's labeled as an action thriller, but I'd say it's more suspense thriller. Um, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but it was marketed very much like an action film, kind of in the way that well, Monkey Man recently, I've heard from friends that that's not really much of an action movie. It's more like there's a small fight in the middle, and then uh, at the end there's fighting. But like, I wish Hollywood would stop doing that, like lying about what the movie truly is, because this isn't a bad movie. It's a good movie. It is, but there definitely are issues, and one of them would definitely be that it's not. There needs to be more action and less of the talking shit, because there are scenes where characters will be talking on for forever about something that we already know, or something that we will learn basically through just watching the movie and seeing what happens. They over explain a lot of things, kind of in a way that the Inception did, where it explained every single detail of traveling into people's minds. And I understand that was like a newish concept then, but still it feels like you're treating the audience like they're idiots. And this film did not need to be as convoluted as it is. And, or, okay, convoluted or complicated, one or the other. It didn't. It should have just been a fun action movie, and for the most part, it's more of a fun thriller. I will say there are multiple scenes of suspense that do definitely work, and that I did enjoy watching. Um, but also, another thing with this film is that some of those last a bit too long. The main scene that everybody remembers is Ethan, Ving Rhames, and Jean Reno's characters. Um, excuse me, Ethan and the other guys getting into the CIA headquarters and taking the list or whatever so that they can bribe Vanessa Redgrave's character and get to Job, who's basically gotten Ethan in all this trouble. And that scene, yes, it is iconic, but I do think it delves a little bit too much into ridiculousness at times, and it does go on a bit too long. And I do enjoy the concept of it, and I do think it's a good scene, but it could have definitely been cut by like a minute or two. Because there are bits where I'm just like, okay, keep going. I'm not saying I want it to be like cut like that, but I just wish it was paced a little better. The stuff at the beginning, I think, was the best stuff of the movie. If I'm being honest, the stuff at the beginning and end um, are very well done. The party stuff with him and the other members worked. You had just enough of the gadgets, you had just enough of the like tech wizardry, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. I like this. And you had just enough of the spy stuff that they do. Sorry, I keep looking at my phone. And it worked. I enjoyed that, and I wish there was a bit more of that. But since this is kind of an origin story to what would become a series, and I don't even know if they knew it would become a series at that point, it was kind of like a bit too slow at times after that. But also, I haven't even mentioned Brian De Palma directed this. I love Brian De Palma. I love Phantom of the Paradise. I love Dressed to Kill. I love um, I liked Domino all right. It has a lot of issues. It's very clearly edited down to try to make it an action movie when it's not. Um, Passion. I wish I liked Passion more, but there were quite a few issues with the plot of that. Um, I'm trying to remember other Brian De Palma movies off the top of my head. I need to watch more of them. I should rewatch Dress to Kill to review on the channel because I remember loving that film. Still, even in today's society, I love that film. Um, but Brian De Palma usually has a bit of a distinct style. And to be honest, when I hear people talking about like, oh, it's a Disney movie, if you attach a director that's known for having a style, it's not probably not going to be fully realized in it. That's what I feel here. Because I was expecting like his split diopter shots during the scenes of spy stuff between all the different members when they talk to each other. I was expecting a split diopter. That's when it's like this cut down half of the screen, one character's on one side, one character's on the other reacting. I think that would have worked very well to add a sense of pace because that's one thing they did in Dress to Kill, and Carrie's another one that I love, and a bunch of his other movies. That really works. It really adds a sense of suspense because you're seeing it from both sides. And I wish that happened more in this. It even happened in Domino, I think. Yeah, it happened because when the drone is like going towards the woman and he's like fighting with the other guy, it happens at the same time, I think. And 100% there were split diopter shots in that. But yeah, like you don't see really much of Brian De Palma's type of filmmaking here. It just kind of looks like a normal Hollywood movie. It's not like it looks bad, but it doesn't look like a Brian De Palma film at all. It like literally at all. But um yeah, other than that, other things, again, Henry Czerny and Emmanuel Beert definitely drag this down whenever they're on screen and talking. They are both the worst actors of the film. And a lot of other actors are doing pretty good jobs, so I don't know what really happened. Um, there's some weird stuff. There's. Well, I'll give this film one thing. It had a couple moments where I was like that was pretty insane for PG-13. There's the bit where Emilio Estevez's character, which I forgot he was even in this, is in the elevator trying to stop it, and then these claws open up at the top of the elevator, which I don't know exactly what they're meant for, and then like two of the prongs go into his eye, and you don't like see it for but half a second, but it's still like, holy fuck, that's insane that they got away with that with PG-13. You can't get away with that now. Even the thought of that would be an R. But it's not like they show blood or anything. But this film, it's not like it gets bloody because it's not like a movie with a ton of shootouts. It's more interested in suspense and thrilling stuff like that. Like, it's more interested in being a thriller than an action movie. But it it still does pretty well with the thriller aspect of it. I will say it's not one of Brian De Palma's best films, though. I would probably take Femme Fatale over this. I have not seen Femme Fatale in a bit. I do want to rewatch it. But even with the problems Femme Fatale had at times, I would definitely see more of Brian De Palma's style of directing in that. And even though Rebecca Ramin Stamos, for the most part in that film, was pretty good, I would still take her over Emmanuel Beert. And don't get me wrong, Emmanuel, I'm not shitting on her. I think it was a weird directing thing, maybe. She's still gorgeous. I won't say she's not. Same with Rebecca Ramin. But, I don't know, just something about her performance just didn't sit well with me. There's also... There's something else I wrote down that I wanted to mention. Just a second. I know this review is almost at 20 minutes. But, oh yeah, the way that certain characters are revealed to be villains, I think was pretty sketchy. In that it's supposed to be this big twist at certain points, but you either don't know about the characters that well, like they were only in the first couple scenes, or they just have barely been in the movie to the point where you're like, okay, like the things that are supposed to be surprises are with characters that you don't really get to know about, and are usually characters that are acting suspicious anyway. So the twists in the film didn't really work for me. I think Brian De Palma has definitely done better twists. And again, the dialogue scenes go on way too long at certain points. There are ones that are entertaining. Again, Vanessa Redgrave, whenever she's on screen, she is awesome. I love Vanessa Redgrave to death. I'm not just saying that because she's an older actress. I legit think that she is like awesome in this. But I'm not trying to shit on this film. I'm just trying to give fair criticism, because I think most films can be criticized. Even if I were to criticize the last film I watched, Shoot 'Em Up, it would be kind of like, it would be things that mostly the film was already trying to do. Like if there's like a filmmaking mistake or something, or a thing that looks weird in a film like that, that seems like, oh, that's not good or whatever, it kind of is already trying to do that, so it wouldn't bother me. And that film was so much fucking fun that I didn't care, and I loved it to death. But here, you do still have a well-made thriller that, again, it's not even it's the shortest of all of the Mission Impossible movies. It's an hour and 50 minutes. The longest one is almost 3 hours, which I'm dreading watching Dead Reckoning because of that runtime. And I'm afraid that they're gonna up the... Like, I feel like I'm scared that it's gonna do the same thing John Wick Chapter 4 did, where the action scenes are gonna go on way too fucking long, and they're not gonna learn their lessons. But still, you have some very well done scenes of suspense. Again, great work from Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, Jean Reno, John Voight, Vanessa Redgrave. Great suspense. The score by Danny Elfman. I really like his reworking of Mission Impossible theme. I think it works very well. And yeah, you still have a good film. I just don't think it's as insane, perfect as a lot of people do. So, that was my review of Mission Impossible. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.